Hello, welcome to G67 1.6 AB1. This is practice multiplying and dividing positive and negative integers. Here's the rules we're going to be using today. If we see an even number of negative symbols, it's going to be a positive answer. An odd number of negative symbols, it's going to be negative answers. It gets a little tricky when it gets down into the exponents, and I've highlighted some of those. We'll go over those. So let's just get going. Here's the way I do it. I do the fact. 2 times 3 is 6. And you've got one negative symbol, so it's a negative 6. This one here, I got 3 times 3, that's 9. And I got one negative symbol, that's a negative 9. 4 times 2 is 8. And I got two negative symbols, so that's a positive 8. See the way I'm rolling on this? I thought you would. Let's get down to something a little more interesting. How about number 5? 5 times 2 is 10. It's going to be a negative 10 because there's one negative symbol. Then I'm going to take that times 7, and that's a negative 7. So now I've got a negative times a negative. This is going to give me 7, but I got two negatives, so it's going to be a positive 70. So let's continue here and get in something a little bit more interesting. I took a new sheet here. That's why this one was missing. This one here was 70. A quick way to do that I didn't explain was good. Just do 5 times 2 is 10. 10 times 7 is 70, and then count up the negative symbols. You've got one negative symbol and two negative symbols, so that's going to be an even number, so that makes it positive 70. But number 10 is a little bit more interesting. What is the answer to number 10? Well, most people guess 100, but they're not really sure why. If you understand what it means, the exponent here is outside the bracket. That means you take everything that's in the bracket and multiply it by itself. There you can see the 10 times 10, which is 100. You've got two negative symbols, and so it's a positive 100. I think 16.5 down here is a little bit more interesting. So now what do? Well, first let's consider this problem over here. What if we had, let's say, 200 minus 10 squared? You would never say that this is 200 plus 100, would you? No, you do the exponent first and you say that that is 200 minus 100. Well, in that same school of thought, this one here, you go inside the parentheses, and inside the parentheses, you do the exponent. You have 100, and you still have this negative symbol out there. If you want to think of that as a negative 1 times that, you can. This is negative 100. Are you with me? Yeah, I just said this. I said that negative 10 squared, like this, with the exponent inside, is equal to negative 100. Again, I'm citing this as my evidence right over here. And if you don't like that, I'll cite it again here. What if I said h minus 2 squared? Would you ever say that that's h plus 4? No, you'd say it's h minus 4 because you do the exponent first. So this is definitely negative 100, where this, negative 10, exponent on the outside, because you're multiplying whatever's in the parentheses times itself, that is a positive 100. Let me slide it over just a little bit. This equals a positive 100. Those are two good examples to remember. So now let's take a look at 16.75. This is even more interesting. So when you have a negative symbol out here, think of that like a negative 1 times, you have a negative 10 squared inside. Now, what's negative 10 squared? Well, we already said that this is negative 100. So now you just take the negative 1 times that, and all of a sudden you have two negative symbols. 1 times 100 is equal to 100, and you have two negatives, so it's a positive 100. There's a great video called G67 Integers. Did I get it on? Not quite on the dot cam there. Integers and exponents. If you haven't already watched that, we will be watching that soon. Let's keep going here. Don't let these ones here trick you. These just are division. 56 divided by 4. Well, 56 divided by 4 would be 14, isn't it? Let's just think about that. 14 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. There's a 6 and there's a teen. 4 times 4 is 1. 56, right? Okay, just a division bar. You have two negatives. It's a positive. This one here, 48 divided by 16 is 3. You've got only one negative symbol. It's a negative 3. Okay, let's take a look at one of these problems down here in the bottom, and actually two, because one everybody's going to ask me about, and It's a tough one. We won't have anything as tough as this in 6th grade, but I'll give you the answer to it. All right, so let's take a look at number 27 here. First of all, I'll just rewrite this problem. You have to put 2, and then our variable for b is 5. So put it in parentheses. Always put them in parentheses. Substitute your values in instead of parentheses, and it'll make life easier. And then we're going to take it and we're going to subtract. Now we've got c is equal to a -6, a -6. So now we've got 2 negatives here. So we're going to double shot this. And that's all over the top of a, which is -2. All right, so now we've got to simplify up top. We have to do the parentheses first. So this, we simplify this, we're going to have 10 plus 6. So we've got 16 on the top, and we've got -2 on the bottom. Well, 16 divided by 2 is 8. We've got one negative symbol. It's going to make it a -8. I think those are the toughest, so let's try another one of those first. Try number 30 here. So we have 2a, so let's get there 2 and substitute in. A is going to be -2. And now we're going to put plus c, and c is a -6. So that's all over b, which is 5. Okay, let's just substitute these. Well, this is going to be 2 times a -2. It would be a -4 plus a -6. So up on top, we're going to have -6 plus a -4, that's going to be 10. That's negative. Divided by 5. Well, 10 divided by 5 is 2. And you've got one negative symbol. So number 30 is going to be a -2. Okay? Let's take a look at 32. 32 is a bugger. How do you do this one? Because c is a -6. So let's just write it out. Negative times, we substitute this in, we've got a -6. And then we've got the whole thing squared. Well, we can think about this as a -1 times a -6, and then the whole thing squared. We have to do what's inside the brackets first. So inside the brackets, you've got 1 times 6, which is 6, and you've got a negative times a negative, which is positive. And then you've got to square that, and that's how you end up with a positive 36 on this one. Okay? All right. Good luck on these. I know they're a little tricky. I think if you write them out and do exactly what I did, please, I hate to say drink the Kool-Aid, because I just need you to trust me. You just write these things out. I'll look at one more quickly here. Let's just take a look at 29. What's c? C is a -6. We've got -6 on top. Then we've got a plus b. Well, that's going to be a -2. And it's going to be plus b, which is 5. All right, well, the rule is do everything on top, do everything in the bottom, and then do the division. Well, there's nothing to do on the top. On the bottom, we've got a -2 plus 5. Well, those are different signs. The difference is 3, and it is positive because this has a greater absolute value. We still have a -6 on top. Do the fact, 6 divided by 3 is 2, and we've got one negative symbol. That's going to make that a -2 right there. All right. Good luck, folks. Work hard.